Hi there, Tron again. Just making a video before I go to sleep, and Zeus has beat me to it, I think. Uh, about, well, December 7th is going to mark 19 months of sobriety for me. And as I've said before, I never really expected to even want sobriety, much less achieve it. As I was drinking a lot. The last several years that I was drinking, I cut back from what I previously had been, which was like just ridiculous excesses of drinking. So, just that in itself is a cause for celebration. Removes that self-destruction thing out of the equation, but I'm pretty happy about it. 19 months of sobriety, but I've got to say, and I'm probably not alone in this, I've really been struggling lately. The farther we get into all this pandemic stuff, the last few weeks I've struggled a bit. And I'm reminded of the saying, recovery is not a linear process. And I had to remind myself of that. And a lot of it is just the isolation involved, because my pod, they call it, people you can have close contact with during this. My pod is me and Zeus, which is Zeus is spectacular, but it can be tough some days. Well, again, recovery is not a linear process. So, what's been going on, what goes on in these times for me, probably a lot of people, you have that inner voice that my therapist calls the monger, the propagandist, the one that that voice that tells you that you can't do something, or you're not worthy of something, you're not worthy of a certain achievement, or you can't, and all that, and you have to just ignore that and keep on going. And really, one of the analogies that I can use to guide myself and maybe other people is, we're going to have these setbacks. On the plus side, I'm still sober, 19 months in. I don't have, it's been a while since I've had actual suicidal ideations. I still have a lot of negative thoughts here that pop up here and there, especially with everything going on. But so definitely moving in the right direction. And the analogy I was going to use is how you have to just keep moving forward. You have to adjust to what's going on. You have to make adjustments in your strategies and your mindset, and then you have to just push through. Example that I can think of is comes to mind 2004 Boston Marathon, long before the bombings, thank goodness. I was possibly in the best marathon shape I'd ever been in my life. I'd been doing a lot of terrific long runs, including a few 26, 28, 30-mile training runs. I'd also done a 34-mile training run at Norbuck Park that I felt really strong the whole way. So I was physically and maybe mentally better prepared for Boston than I'd ever been. I was 41 years old, and I was ready to run by far my fastest marathon ever. I think I was ready to run at least a 2:40 at Boston, maybe under, depending on a lot of things like conditions. Well, turns out weather conditions, the race is always on Marathon Monday, Patriots Day in Massachusetts. When I saw the forecast on the Weather Channel on Saturday, that they were forecasting temps in the high 80s, maybe a little hotter than that, and and sunny skies, hardly a cloud in the sky, and there's no shade on that course. So what ended up happening, I decided on Saturday, a couple days before the race, to adjust my strategy, because I was ready to run probably 2 hours 40 minutes or better, which is just a hair over, excuse me, just a few seconds over 6-minute pace per mile. Well, I kind of knew, given the course, and it's all on black asphalt with no shade. So if it's 90 degrees, the temperature out on that asphalt is probably 110, maybe 115, maybe even 120. You're not going to run the pace you had planned. So on Saturday, I started readjusting my plan. Said, okay, that's not going to happen. So let's dial it back and still try to run even pace. I was thinking maybe more like 7 minutes a mile, maybe a little bit slower than that. Main thing, just running comfortable, giving respect to the weather conditions. Well, race day, I went out there and started out real conservative, about 720, 730 per mile, something like that. Kind of eased in where I was getting more like 705, 710 per mile. But point being, I kept my head, ran 1 hour 35 minutes for the first half of the race, 1 hour 35 minutes for the second half of the race, ran 3 hours 10 minutes and 10 seconds. Temperature was 90 degrees that day. I've run in 2 of the 4 hottest Boston Marathons ever. At that time, it was the 3rd hottest Boston ever. 2012, we surpassed it. But running that, readjusting my strategy, backing off the pace, keeping my head, and just moving forward without panicking. That helped me run nearly a perfect race. And then I would have liked to run faster, but like I said, when it was 90 degrees on that course, it's going to make it really tough to run your PR. So I was happy. I consider that my best marathon, even though it's not my fastest time. So I just, using that analogy, when I'm having tough days and tough weeks, just kind of dealing with everything, the isolation, job hunting, the uncertainty of unemployment and bills and everything else. Kind of just reframe and replace, and just adjust strategies, and just kind of keep on doing things to set yourself up for success. For me, I keep my routine of running every day, walking Zeus back there a few times, at least twice a day, every day. Doing some self-care, letting myself enjoy some music, or a lot of music actually, but letting myself enjoy some music, doing some reading, some writing, and a big thing right now is keeping up making these videos, making my podcast. And those are things that kind of help keep me moving forward and stay more in a positive frame of mind. I was briefly going to stop making the podcast and videos for a while, but after about a week, I could feel myself really getting more and more stressed. because as my therapist said, I was kind of keeping it all in. So anyway, that's about it. Just keep your strategies in mind. Do self-care. And 19 months of sobriety, I give myself a thumbs up. And hang on a second. Sorry about that. Got my Boston bracelets as a reminder. All right. Stay safe. Don't lose your head. Keep your eye on the prize. All right. Y'all take care.